multiple times and lost his lair and his Roach Warren and had to make only Hydralisk. Things were looking really lopsided composition-wise. So it was a really unfortunate game for a Zerg fan, I'm sure, to watch. Just going, look what Force Fields can do.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to jump into Game 2 very, very soon here. It's going to be on our same map that we've seen the whole preseason tournament, Alterzim Stronghold. It's Ruin and Ungneam, or rather, not Ruin and Ungneam. It's our CJ Entis team, Bbyong and effOrt, going, well, we're already in the game, so let me just tell you who's playing. It's Terminator and Climax versus effOrt and Bbyong.
Yeah, Terminator and Climax, of course, on that JINAIR Green Wings team against CJ Entis' team, effOrt and Bbyong, who have looked probably, like we mentioned before, the strongest out of all the 2v2 teams.
Yeah. So spawning locations, top is CJ side, and bottom is JINAIR side. Now let's see what they've got planned. Now, we've talked about this to death now. It's a dead horse, you know, with like a bunch of arrows and shotgun wounds in it. Like
and
that's
maggots and
it's
all
gross.
sorts of other animals eating the dead horse.
And basically what I'm doing is looking at that and kicking it. But rush strategies are the most popular way to play on a map like this for 2v2 because the map's not designed for 2v2. It's big. The bases are not shared. They're far away. A lot of people, you know, online have been making this sentiment, and I agree. So in StarCraft 1, it made more sense to have bases that weren't shared to be far away with how the game worked. But in StarCraft 2, units are so strong so early that you can basically just isolate one player and kill him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, on this map especially, you know, it's just so hard to reinforce your ally, and now just look at this. Such an early play. We haven't seen the 2 barracks yet on this map, but we do see it right now out of Bbyong, and it gets spotted right away by Terminator.
Yep, he actually has to micro his probe because the SUV will beat it 1v1 in a straight-up fight. He has to wait for shields to regen. And as soon as he actually can kill that second SUV, the first SUV is going to be ready to help out with the first barracks being completed. So we have this, plus Zergling's going to come out here. And with the Zerglings coming out, he's going to potentially research speed. No, actually, effOrt doesn't... Okay, so he hasn't started it yet, but he has enough gas, so he could easily research speed in just a moment. There it is. So we're going to see Marines with very aggressive pressure, followed up by Speedlings. This is going to be pretty tough to hold. I think he's going to pull a lot of SCVs with this as well.
Yeah, I would think so. And this is actually the first time we've seen effOrt and Bbyong go this aggressive. We've seen actually effOrt in the first 2 2v2s that he played. He actually expanded first, whereas this time he's actually going for the Speedlings as well as Banelings and going to partner up with Bbyong and go for a really aggressive attack. I'd want to see which one they go for. I'd have to guess probably the Zerg player.
Yeah, well, you know, that's tough to say, actually, because with SCVs coming with bunkers, the Marines become much more strong against Protoss. And the Banelings are really good against Zerg, but Spine Crawlers work really well against both of this. So as long as Climax makes a lot of spines, it's going to kind of shut this down. They'll stop bunkers from getting up. But as a pro, you're not really going to have cannons out. You're not going to be making that. They are going for attacking Climax here, but I think they may switch targets relatively soon. We'll see.
The only problem with that is that they have to go all the way to the other side of the map.
That's
true. It would be a long time to take. It looks like they're just kind of backing off here. Climax sending a lot of his Zerglings towards the base of Bbyong. Maybe going to try to go for a little bit of a counterattack, or at least maybe try to pick off reinforcements, but that doesn't make any sense because the barracks are over to the right.
Well, I think what he's trying to do here is he knows that, as you can see Terminator doing here, he knows that there's going to be no units at home. So he's basically just trying to force the units to turn around so he can get a little bit more time. And
he's doing a good job of that. He's forcing these guys to come back and clean them up. And now this has given Terminator and Climax specifically a lot more time to set up defenses for this.
Here we go, Baneling's rolling in. He's got SCVs leading the charge as well. He needs to knock those queens down. That's the ideal situation here. One transfuse down, but the DPS of those Marines is so high. The queen is finally gone, and the Banelings are still alive. They're rolling in. He needs to target that spine call on the Banelings if he can. Looks like it's just going to go get targeted down itself. Banelings do so much damage to structures. Now he's got only Lings against Banelings and Marines of his opponent. Where is Terminator? Where are his reinforcements? So far, it doesn't look like he has any. He's got a Nexus going up right now.
Terminator's starting a Nexus. I want to say that end of Robo. He is not here to help his opponent, and now with a bunch of Marines and Banelings and Speedlings in the base of Climax, Climax is in a big trouble.
Yeah, big trouble indeed, man. Right now, this first spine crawler is down. The second one is rerouting, but it's taking way too long. It's going to fall, and this actually may be game here. The first spine crawler already gone. The second one now falls. No larva here. No drones mining. The queen is gone. All the drones are going to die. He doesn't even know what to do with that Baneling because it's not worth it to use it on a drone.
it's not worth it to use it on a building either. And like you said before, Climax pretty much done. It looks like Terminator just going to play, as a lot of Protoss have actually played in this 2v2 on this map, just kind of bunker up and maybe try to go for a lot of these bigger tech units.
All he's going to do here is target the hatchery and then leave. And then they're both going to turn on Terminator here. The drones are no longer useful. If he wants to remake a hatchery, then Bbyong says, yeah, sure, fine. That's going to take you forever, man. Good luck with that. And they're both
Good luck
just
getting your economy started building a hatchery right now when we have so many units on the map.
He's actually to send a few Zerglings, effort that is, to eliminate the last of the drones.
And now you guys can see there in the Korean Climaxes being revealed because he doesn't have any more buildings, or at least no more hatcheries.
You know what's really hard to do on this map is to play a macro game in 2v2. What's even harder to do on this map is to play a macro game in 1v2. And that's what we're going to watch Terminator try to do here. What Climax can do is give all the remaining resources he has left to Terminator to try to help out, and the tech is going to be really good for Terminator. He's getting a little bit of harassment done here.
This is interesting. No queen there to stop that mothership core from doing a bit of damage there.
Yeah, another queen's about to pop, but it's a bit late, and he actually hasn't been able to start any spores. Okay, now he chases it away.
Yeah, the mothership core able to get 3 kills there. This is going to be hard, though. They're not going to be able to bust up the ramp because of all the sentries, unless Terminator does not see this, which I can bet my everything that I have in my bank account right now, I can bet that he is going to be watching that ramp with Hawkeyes.
Yeah, and I mean...
And as I say that,
I'm like, you're actually poor now.
I am actually pretty poor. He was able to get all of his banelings up the ramp and kill that pylon. Terminator was actually not watching.
I think
now
actually
he's going to have to continue with the...
Here's the thing. I think he was watching. Like, on second look, I think he was just like, yeah, if you want to waste all your banelings on a pylon, that's cool, because then I'll just force field afterwards, and then you don't have any banelings, and you don't get on my main base.
Yeah.
So, like, thinking back, like, with a tight wall, I guess it makes sense. But still, I mean, he still was watching and still got the force field off on the Zerglings.
Yeah.
Did that Zergling just dance before it died? I think it did.
Probably. I mean, when you're in the face of death, what better to do?
That's what I'd do.
Start dancing. Maybe, you know, if you're getting mugged or something, you could just start dancing, like, saying a bunch of crazy stuff, and maybe the person thinks you're insane and just, like, runs away from you. I've actually heard about that as, like, a real strategy. Like,
no, yeah, I've read this as well. Like, if you... Also, if you make a lot of noise if you're being mugged, then it just draws attention to you, so the person who's mugging you is much less likely to actually go for you. So he says, even if I die, I'm not going to leave.
Yeah.
But I think...
A very good ally there. Climax is going to give a lot of morale to Terminator.
I think that the thing about Terminator is he has the much better tech, but if whichever base he goes on, he may be able to kill it. But then he's going to be putting all of his eggs in one basket, and the other player will have been able to tech up. As you can see right now, Bbyong has the starport completed. He's going to be able to start Viking Suit to help deal with the Colossi. A huge spine crawler wall is going up at the top of the ramp for effOrt, who is more vulnerable to this right now, but that's going to buy more time.
Yeah, it's definitely going to buy time. When you're 1v2, you have to attack 2 opponents and win against 2 opponents, but you can see with that very aggressive early game that effOrt and Bbyong win for, they don't have the tech just yet, but they are starting it now. They are getting a bunch of tech now, but with this Colossi, it's going to be a big hurt onto effOrt.
Ooh, even the Colossus walking into Spore Crawler range, that's going to really hurt. And I can't believe he allowed that to happen, because that's basically the backbone of his army here. The rest of the Stalkers come up here now. The Spine Crawlers are starting to finish here on the right side. He's just trying to buy as much time as possible. This Bioforce is tiny, but with the Spine Crawlers and any units that effOrt can get out here, he should be able to clear this up. Remember also with that Mothership Core, there's a recall available.
Yeah, there definitely is a recall available. He is now behind the mineral line in the middle, right next to the lair. He is going to probably target that down, maybe recall, or maybe just stay here and continue doing damage.
This is all about the tech, you know. You said it earlier. He was so aggressive. He didn't have any tech, and that's what he's being punished for a little bit here. But now Zerling's in here. He's got Spine Crawlers. This army is trapped. He's going to have to recall because the Bioforce that's with it, with Stim, Combat Shield's about finished, is going to force the recall easily, and there it is.
Yeah, there is that recall. I wish he maybe, if he had targeted that lair, that would have done a lot more damage. I think he could have gotten that by the time that Bbyong was over there to help his ally, but he didn't quite do that, maybe just trying to put more damage onto the armies. But anyway, forcing that mass recall back to his base.
Yeah, you know, considering that the lair is done, he could start that Spire. There it is. Corruptors would be a great choice against the Colossi to also help supplement the Terran army. But he could even go Mutas here to harass, because if Terminator sits in his own base, they're going to take the whole map. Terminator's out on the map, then the Mews come in, and that's basically how the JINAIR crumbles in this game, because even if he loses all these Bioforces on the left side, he trades okay here, and it's 2v1. It's not even 2 base against such and such base, like a 1v1, like, oh, it's 4 base against 3, he's ahead. It's literally just a 2v1.
Yeah,
2 players against 1.
As if it were a 4 base to 2 base, except you have 2 people controlling the 4 base. Because that's literally what it is.
And it's 2 races against 1. The variety of units that we have here is insane. He's going to kill that neutral depot here. And then here come the time warps. They're both baited out, and that means that Bbyong can actually fight on his own terms now. He doesn't have to worry about this. A few more Banelings being morphed to try to buy time. Spine Cores at the top of the ramp, also buying time. If you can get those sentries, the Banelings, that would be excellent to get some of them.
Oh, and the Marine Bioforce in the back. You're able to take out one of the Colossi, one of them being taken out now, or almost just taken out there, able to get out of there with the rest of his Marauders.
Terminator is trying to make this close. He really is trying to turn this game around. Back at home, he's getting Blink. He has +1. He's making a lot of Stalkers. Banelings here trying to target down those Colossi. They do not the most cost-efficient way to take them out, but they do fall, and that's the important part, because now we have Bio coming in from 2 sides with Medevac ceiling. The Stalkers are never going to be good against this. Blink is not ready yet. He wishes it were.
Oh boy, he just barely gets it there. He is able to blink out just at the right time. He still has this Mothership Core in base going after the Queen.
Yeah, he actually doesn't have any more Queens right now.
One more shot onto the Queen.
2 more.
Yeah, and the Queen does go down. Not quite able to kite the Mothership Core.
He's actually going to kill some drones with this.
Yeah.
No joke. I mean,
Mothership Cores for Terminator this game really,
what
pretty good assassins.
What I'd like to see Terminator do now, yeah, I agree with you, is to take a 3rd base and continue to attack the Zerg.
Yeah, I'd actually like that too. I mean, again, still effort in Bbyong. They are getting those Vikings out though, and the Spire is up at this point, so they are getting that tech to match with Terminator. And Terminator did lose a lot of Colossi in that push. I think it was 3 there, and I don't know if he can do this from here on. He's probably going to try for this. He only has 1 Colossi now, but now with some Vikings out and an even bigger 2-man force of effort in Bbyong, it's going to be really tough to kill both of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, Bbyong has 3 bases. He's got a high Viking count. It's only desperation. He's trying to isolate the two armies away from each other because that's his best chance. His Blink Stalker micro here is incredibly. Chase is now blinking forward, trying to knock those Vikings and the Medevacs out of the sky. The Colossi at the back doing so much damage. And here come the Banelings. He's trying to make a show of it for us here. Banelings only coming out for effort. And that is going to be all she wrote. The Stalkers blink into Banelings. GG. And we have a tie game. CJ Entis is able to take the win.
And wow, very well played out of those guys. Playing very, very aggressive in the early game. Able to take out that 1 player. Terminator actually expanding and getting a robo, getting tech at the same time. Not able to help his ally. And from there it was a 1v2. He tried. He put on a good show. Almost did it. Not quite able to take it though. Bringing in the tie. Not
close enough. Very close. But it's just able to come into that main base, do some damage. The Spine Cores are done just in time. He knew he had the tech of the Baneling Nest. He was able to run with that. So... That's how things ended there, and I feel like what else could he have done? I mean, he went for the weaker player, the player who invested more into the all-in, and with the barracks floating back, Bbyong had just had so much production. He was sitting there over for free. If you pick one player, the other player is going to